For the longest time, as designers, we did the work, but somebody else pushed it and published it and made it live. Well, not anymore. In this tutorial, my goal is to take you through a complete journey where we start from a Figma design that you may have designed. I will guide you through the setup of Visual Studio using Claude Code so that you can work from inside a proper IDE and actually interact with your files. The last step is I'm going to show you how to use GitHub Pages to actually publish your portfolio, make it live, add your custom domain to it if you wish to, but you will have a live portfolio that you designed live and for free. Leveraging all the skills with Claude Code and Figma MCP, we're going to put this to action. Now, please note, this is not a demo for people who are just browsing through things. This is a complete tutorial, step by step, for those people who want to follow along and actually get something working, where we're setting up things the way I would teach them in my college classes. Those of you who have been following my channel, you already know I do not do any sponsored content. My mission is to create quality content to make it available to you and accessible to everyone. With that commitment, let's dive in. To get started, there are a few installations that you need to go through. For Claude Code, as well as the Figma MCP, those installations are very elaborate. This video right here on my channel will guide you on how to fully do this. It will walk you step by step to install Claude Code in your terminal, to do all the debugging necessary if you have not managed to do it, and to install the Figma MCP. So please make sure to go through this step. If you have and you're already here, then that's great. The next step that you would need to do is install VS Code for Mac. So I'm clicking on this to download it. Of course, it's going to download a DMG, so let it come to your downloads. Even by using Claude to write your code, you want to be able to manage this code. You want to look at your folder structure. You want to manage all these things. And that's why we want what we refer to as an IDE, which is a place where we write the code. So if I explain to you this whole combination, Claude is going to be the agent, the CLI. Claude is the command line brain that allows us to work with the code and execute with natural language. But Visual Studio is going to be the place, the IDE, where we see all this code and we interact with it. So once you've downloaded Visual Studio, you're going to be asked to sign in to use AI features. I'm going to log in with my GitHub account. If you do not have a GitHub account, that's okay. You will see first you're prompted to use GitHub Copilot. So Copilot is another agent, just like Claude, and it's wonderful. I've used it in the past. However, when it comes in comparison to the capabilities of Copilot versus Claude, Claude definitely excels, and that's why we want to use it here. So I'm going to show you how to add Claude inside your Visual Studio. And just to get you a little bit familiar with the interface of VS Code, there is a folder structure right here. This is where we open a folder, where we get a repository. If we were using GitHub, there's a search. This is where you connect the Git repository, so we're able to create branches and make commits. Again, we'll talk about all that later. This is where we run and debug. And this is the last one, this icon right here. It's extensions. And that's what we need, because the first thing we want to do for our setup is to get the Claude extension so we can leverage it from inside VS Code. So I'm going to type Claude, and you will see Claude Code for VS Code is the first extension that we see. Click on Install, Trust Publisher, and Install. And once you've done that, it starts guiding you on how to get started with Claude inside VS Code, the different shortcuts, how to chat with it, which is basically clicking on the Claude icon here, and how you can access your past conversations. I have the chat session here. This is where Copilot can be accessed. Instead, I'm going to click on Claude, and this opens my Claude Code chat, and that's what I want to do. I'm going to create a new folder, which I will call Portfolio. And now I will open this folder. So it's asking me, do you trust the author of this file? Yes, I trust it. I'm giving permissions because now going forward, VS Code is going to refer to this folder, generate files inside of it, and all the needed steps. Let's also make sure that we are logged in into Claude. So to do that, I'm going to turn on Claude and I will click /login. You can see it's already here. And this will ask you if you have a Claude subscription. Go ahead and authenticate on your own. And because I've done that within my terminal, it already knows that connection. So I'm authorizing the connection. And now we can close this tab right here and type Claude inside Claude just to initiate it, to make sure that everything is working. It said, how can I help you? Which tells me the setup is okay. I'm going to start by telling it, create a folder structure for my portfolio project, an HTML file. It is going to be an HTML application, and I want to leverage Tailwind CSS. So here you go. It already identified and planned a structure that it's going to use. For your reference, if you haven't used Tailwind CSS, it's a library with great CSS code that will make your styling very easy. It's one of the common things that are used by developers everywhere to generate good code. It's the default for so many of these agents anyways. So now it's asking me, do you want to allow this bash command of creating all these assets, getting Tailwind? I'm going to say yes. It's asking for more permissions to allow write inputs, allow to write in main.js. This is the structure of the JavaScript file that will allow the functionality or logic of what we're writing. So I'm allowing all of this. And I know this can be intimidating for you as designer because you don't know what it is. So most of the time, you can trust that the agent knows what it's doing and it's asking for the permissions that it needs. And there's nothing dangerous here. Like, go through the permissions. I'm not asking you to blindly say yes, but it's asking for things that it needs to create your project. So you're good to say yes. And now it's saying all set. So now if you come inside my folder, you will see I already have a structure. Claude already created folders that will contain my CSS. CSS is the styling, it's the style sheets. Index.html, this is where the structure of your website or your file will live. There are sections, source files, different things because we're using Tailwind. But you see, we didn't even do anything and it already created the structure for you. And basically, anything that we create is going to live inside this index.html. Now, the next step is we are designers, we want to define our portfolio. So it's very likely that you may want to get started from a Figma design. If you're getting started from scratch, I would want to talk to you about how to redefine your brand using Claude to get the best possible output. You may actually go to Google Stitch and brainstorm and ideate and come up with a design. Whatever it is, the way that you choose to revamp the design of your portfolio, you're going to have an output, a design output, a Google Stitch output, whichever way it is. I'm going to work with Figma just as a proof of concept because you obviously have access to that. So what I will do here is I'm going to copy this initial breakpoint of my portfolio design. And what I've done is I said, create this portfolio page in my index.html, and I gave it the link for my Figma. And as soon as I did this, it called on the skill Figma implement design, which tells me it is using the Figma MCP. So be sure to follow what Claude is saying, because if it's trying to guess, that means you're not connected to the MCP. So check for that. You need to be using the different skills. I'm agreeing to multiple permissions in between where Claude on my behalf is running things inside the terminal to get approvals, to download assets. So just go through the instructions and it's doing whatever it needs to be able to show me my portfolio. I'm going back to my folder and I'll double click and here you go. This is exciting. It did a very good first draft. This is my navigation. It's true. This is my content. This is my images. I mean, it did not lay them out the way I had them, but this is an excellent first start. It is really, really close to what I'm actually doing. It has images that it placed inside assets. Do you see? It downloaded all these images from my Figma file. It has the icons that I have created. It has everything to get started with. And this is right here, guys. Now, the next step is lots of work for me to edit, link pages, account for my design being responsive, and then publish it. So it's a live website. So now let's make some edits. I want to show you that I'm making some realistic edits to my portfolio and how I would do that back and forth with Claude. Now, one thing that I notice is the links are not connected, right? There's a hover state for this button, not for the download resume, but for some reason they both are not linking anywhere. And I want to check. If I go back to Figma, did I actually link these in my design? If I come here on prototype, I have not added a link. Maybe if I have, it would have done something. But for both of them, I did not add a link. So let's start with this very easy fix and try to add those links and connect them right. To do that, I'm back in my Visual Studio and I'm going to say connect the download resume button with my PDF resume here. And I want to give a link to my Google Drive here. Make sure if you're sharing a link for your resume and it is from your Google Drive, make sure it's open to people who do have that link. I can say this in the same prompt or do it in a different prompt and connect YouTube channel button with this link. So now it's reading where this is, which line it is, and it's adding the correct links to them. You see, it's showing me the code right here where it actually added this. It's showing me how it's an href, how it can open it and all that. So I do understand what this means and that it is correct and I'm approving. And here you can see the before and after of your code. That's the beauty of working within Visual Studio. If we were working within Claude Desktop, I would not have visibility into all this. Claude will simply tell me as a text about the edits, but here I can see them directly. Now, in order for us to see that this is working, I'm coming back. As you can see, this is my index.html from my portfolio folder. I can simply click on the refresh or click Command R and this will refresh it. And now clicking on download resume, as you can see, it brought me right here. And now my user can see this and they can download it. Same thing, visit my YouTube channel, takes me to my actual YouTube channel. That is fantastic. Please note, my portfolio is a single page application, which means everything is within that same index.html file. It's all multiple sections. Now, what you're creating may be actual different pages, and that should be very easy and straightforward also for Claude to create if you just tell it to create, for example, a projects page. Now, what I want to try is to see how it can animate. Let me start with this animation. So I'm copying this element. I will get the link for it, and I will say, animate this arrow that starts on my hero section and prompts and nudges the user to scroll below the page fold. And I'm adding this element. I kind of tried to create this animation in Figma, but let me see if Claude can create it. And you can see here it created a CSS transition to transform the arrow to create this nudge effect. I will refresh with Command R. I can see something moving, but for some reason my arrow is not working. So now I have an idea. Maybe what I can do is make this arrow an SVG that Claude can work with. So what I will do is I will do this in Figma. I'll come back here to my design. And you know how we normally prepare assets for our developers? I'm coming here to export. And rather than make this a PNG, I'm going to export it as an SVG. If I can come to dev mode, and this arrow here is right now an asset SVG. I can save it. If I wanted to export it, I can place it here in my assets as an SVG. Or I can just copy the link for it and I'm pointing my Claude to it that it's an SVG in my assets folder, but I'm also providing the link just in case it needs it. So it's saying, let me replace this SVG with the image so that the animation applies cleanly. And that's exactly what we need. Okay, it's saying it's working. I am refreshing. And yes, here you go. That's what's happening. My arrow is moving and animating. And of course, if I wanted to do much more with this, which I probably will before I publish my actual portfolio, I could make it bigger, I could do so many things. But this is a beautiful desired effect that I wanted. So my user scrolls down through my arrow and through my portfolio. Like this, there is so much you can do in the editing phase. Now I'm going to skip through and show you how to make what we created an actual published page for free that you can publish on the web and use as your portfolio. And for that, I want us to leverage GitHub, which will allow you to post a whole page for free. You can host it, you can even use your custom domain, no problem. So let's get started with GitHub. If you're new to GitHub, if you've never used it before, it's normally a forum for developers because that's where they store their code, they branch it, they version it, and they save it. I'm going to guide you through it. Once you've created a username, start by creating a new repository. Give it whatever name that you want. You can give it a description or not necessary. Make sure that the visibility is public for now and click on Create a Repository. Now, once you've done that, a lot of instruction is given right here to you on how you can do this. There is ways where you can use the GitHub desktop app. There's other things. If you haven't used them before, I will guide you through a simple way to do it through the command line. But basically, this is the link for the GitHub repository that we created right here online. And now we want to sync it with the code that we have. There's ways to upload the files in here, but it's not very straightforward. It's better for us to clone this to our desktop, take our files and folders, like whatever we've coded with Claude, and place it in that folder and then push it back to GitHub. I'm going to use the terminal by clicking Command Spacebar. I open my terminal application. Now the next step would be to go to the folder structure or the directory where I would want to download or clone this folder. So for that, you need to type CD as in change directory. I'm clicking Shift to get capital D, and I will click Tab to continue the desktop. So I'm navigating to my desktop, and this is where I want to clone my portfolio 2026. So I will type git clone, that's it, and I will paste my link, and I will click Enter. So it's saying you appear to have cloned an empty repository. Perfect. That's what I want. I just want it to be empty and it will contain everything in it. And that's all I need from the terminal. Now, the rest I'm going to do manually. So I have two Finder instances in front of me. If you don't know how the shortcut for that, like every time you have your Finder, one very useful shortcut is to click Command N. It will create a new Finder window for you. So now I have two of them open. This is my desktop. This is my portfolio 2026. If I double click on it, it's empty. This is where I want everything that I created to go. The folder I was working from within is what I called portfolio empty. Do you see it has all these files, my arrow, my index.html? So what I'm doing is I'm clicking Command A and I'm literally going to move it here. And now it's inside this portfolio 2026. For you to see this reflected in Visual Studio, if I come here now, this portfolio empty is actually empty. So I don't need it anymore. What I want to do is come back and click on Open Folder. And now that I have the right folder, I don't even need Claude to make my commit because as you can see within the Visual Studio structure, it's already connected with GitHub. It does recognize that all these changes have happened to this portfolio 2026 that I created because I'm connected to Visual Studio through GitHub. So I'm going to enter a commit message and say initial new portfolio pages and assets. Whatever your message wants to be. I'm going to commit it and send it. So it's asking me if I want to stage my changes in the commit because suddenly they all appeared. They didn't happen in installments. But for me, that's okay. I don't care about the history now. So I'm sending it. If you haven't done this before, which I want to try to showcase this to you, you would not have authenticated. Even though we're logged in with GitHub, for some reason, there's a global authentication which is needed. So I'll click on commit and push. And here it's telling me make sure you configure your username and your user email. I'm going to click on learn more just for you to see. And basically, it's telling us the first time you do this, you need to configure your username and your email for this to work. And I'm coming back here because I tried committing and pushing and it didn't work. So to do that, I can either do it in the terminal itself, or let me show you how to open the terminal from within VS Code. Do you see right here? If I click on new terminal, it opens it for me. I'm inside my file and I'm going to paste this, but I want to change my name. So git config global name and my username is going to be Nehmat. Jarej, enter yours and I will click enter. So now we did configure the username. The next step would be to configure our email that matches our GitHub email. Make sure you have your right credentials. And now that I've done that, let me try once again. I want to click on commit and push. I already have the name of my commit. And it's saying your repository has no remotes. The extension wants to sign in to GitHub. And here you go. This is my username. And now it did it. And now for the last step of this process, let's make your hard work live. And we're going to do this in the simplest way possible, which is why we're using GitHub. GitHub has something called GitHub Pages, which are free of charge. And how you access this is from inside your repository. I want you to come to settings. In the left side navigation, if you click on pages, this is where you see you have access to GitHub Pages. So I'm going to set up the branch to main because there's a default branch. I'm saving that. If I move to another page and then come back to pages, for some reason, it takes it a second to actually process that. This is where you can configure the custom domain. Coming back to my repository, if I come back to settings and pages, I had to navigate and come back. You will see right now, it's right here. This is my live site. And the name of it is whatever is your username dash the name of your repository. If I click on visit site, this is my site live right here. And now your project is right here in VS Code. So you can continue to do all the changes that you want to do. If you come back to the file, if you turn on your Claude right here, you can continue to iterate, to enhance your file, to speak with Claude so it can assist you and make all the changes that you want to do. And you can commit your changes. Anytime I make a change, I can commit it and send it back, and it's right here live for me. Good work. If you've come here so far, this is fantastic. Let me know your feedback in the comments. If you sat with me all this time, let me know, how was this for you? What else you want to learn about? I want to know that it's making a difference for you. Thank you so much for watching.